Well, it's really great to see some members of the federal opposition coming out hard against the disgraceful and appalling misinformation and disinformation laws being proposed by Albo and Labor. Providing some real opposition. Thank you. These laws will give the government Orwellian-like powers to control what we can watch and hear on social media. And they'll mean the end of this show and many other shows like it. Forget this ban on under 16-year-olds from social media. That's a distraction from the main thing that's going on behind the scenes, which is this, the misinformation laws. Australians will only be able to get their news from government-approved media if these laws go through. The laws are a disgrace. There is no room for debating them or fixing them. This bill needs to be thrown out completely. It was shelved this time last year. God knows why they're trying to bring it back, because it's hugely unpopular. Actually, maybe we do know. For political manipulation ahead of the election due early next year. This is truly shameful stuff from Labor and the left, but typical of the modern, unaccountable left who think people are dumb, that you're not paying attention, and that they can get away with whatever they like. Let's hope and pray that they're wrong. Sadly, once again, it took the coalition a little while to get tough on this. Opposition communications spokesman David Coleman has been way too quiet, in my opinion, as has Peter Dutton, unfortunately. It's a potential huge vote winner if played right. But one MP who has been strong is the Nationals' Kevin Hogan. The bill was debated in Parliament late this week, which means they do want to try to get it through Parliament and into law before the election due next May. But Kevin Hogan, he stood up and he told it like it is.
All of us get up here every day of Parliament and we talk about bills that we're very passionate about. We talk about bills that we have strong opinions on. But, Deputy Speaker, I say this quite sincerely. This is the most dangerous, scary bill that I personally have ever got up to speak about. I am really, really scared and really... Oh, someone laughs. So, yeah, can't have a difference of opinion. No. That says it straight away, Deputy Speaker. Can't have a difference of opinion. I'm going to read out Voltaire. Voltaire, a French philosopher, Speaker. I disagree with everything you have said, but I will defend every day your right to say it. You might want to dwell on that over the other side there, or the members over the other side, Deputy Speaker, might want to dwell on that, because that's what this bill is undermining. I disagree with everything you say, but I will defend your right to say it. And what this Labor radical left-wing government is doing, Deputy Speaker, is abandoning that principle.
Sure.
They will now no longer, this government does not want to defend our right to say things that they disagree with. And that's what this is about, Deputy Speaker. So why would you want to do it? I'm surprised in Australia that we are debating this issue at this level. And you might want to say, well, what is the motivation? What is the motivation of a government to do this? And this radical left-wing government, Deputy Speaker, what their motivation is on this bill is control. Because when you want to stamp it or you want to clamp down on free speech in this country, you are about control. They do not want everyone necessarily to be able to say what that person believes is the truth. Because at the end of the day, Deputy Speaker, one person's misinformation is another person's opinion. And that is something that literally our diggers, we always have great ceremonial things about our diggers and our veterans, as we should, and is respected by both sides of this chamber. But our diggers fought for stuff like this. The basis of free speech in this country has always been something that's been respected. And again, Deputy Speaker, I can't believe we are debating this right in this chamber today.
That is the most powerful speech I've seen in federal parliament in years. And a big shout out and thanks to Max Freedom, the independent media channel from Perth that actually sent that to us and drew our attention to it. It's shameful that we are even debating a bill this disgusting in our country. It is shameful. If we lose the core freedom of speech, we've lost all freedom, because all other freedom flows from that one.
Now, the other side, they'll get up and say, oh, ACMA, it's independent, it's a government body, it's just looking for misinformation. Well, how are you going to define it? How is someone going to define what is misinformation? We've all read, I assume a lot of people have read 1984 by George Orwell, Deputy Speaker. This is all about the Ministry of Truth. Some anonymous person, if this bill goes through, is going to have the right to say and decide what is information for individuals to be able to say on platforms that they want to say it. And this is a slippery slope.
Yep, it is. That is the National Party MP Kevin Hogan, the member for the electorate of Page in New South Wales. Thank you, people of Page, for bringing us a politician with a brain and common sense. Mr. Kevin Hogan had a few ideas about why the government might be so keen to push this bill through at this particular time.
I think one of the reasons that this government's so motivated about this too at the moment is the voice referendum. The voice referendum, the government of the day, this government today, criticised people through the voice referendum that misinformation was being spread. Well, what was the misinformation that was being spread? Because people disagreed with them. Because people had legitimate concerns. Some people's opinion was that was going to divide us by race. That was people's opinion. They say that's misinformation. Some people had huge constitutional questions about the voice referendum, that it was going to have huge constitutional ramifications. Now, are we now not allowed to say that? The government of the day, the Prime Minister of the day, has said, many members of that side have said, that their misinformation was spread about that. So is that what the person in ACMA is going to decide? That if you have a difference of opinion on things, you can't say that? So is the person in ACMA going to decide that if we'd had the voice referendum and they had these powers, that they would take down commentary on the voice referendum that said this is going to divide our country?
That's exactly what these laws are about. I think it might be time that Mr. Dutton gave careful consideration to putting someone with the energy and common sense of Mr. Kevin Hogan in his front bench as Communications Shadow Minister, because the guy we've got now remains a little too invisible.